Masquera say, More Zimbabwe, welcome to our channel Zim Confessions and Deep Secrets. Kana karike changa kukuya panini channel, please don't forget to subscribe. Kama chungwa gara waka subscribe, don't forget to comment and share this video. Nasi More Zimbabwe Tagwirei nyari kupisa, nyari kunetsa mubato, ZANU-PF. There's a power struggle iri kubrewa within the Zimbabwe's ruling ZANU-PF party. Apo pari kunzipane a battle to succeed President Emerson Mnangagwa, as this battle yava kuintensify with a billionaire businessman Kuda Tagwirei ari kuimeja as a front runner, but he is facing opposition from war veteran Chris Mutsvangwa, uyo akabuda achiishwa a strong warning against my ambitions akuda Tagwirei. ZANU-PF spokesperson Christopher Mutsvangwa is the only senior figure vakabuda publicly vachioppose the businessman Kuda Tagwirei about my presidential ambitions avo. Funga kubva muna March vaTagwirei vakastep out from the shadows vakabuda on a countrywide charm offensive mure Zimbabwe. Vakabuda ari offensive vachiratidza kuti aiwa vava kuda kupinda panyanga mure Zimbabwe. Zvakare zvokunzi President Emerson Mnangagwa vari kuti he is the right candidate to succeed him. Nyaya yakabuditswa nemyzimbabwe.com vachauya vachiti a power struggle is brewing within Zimbabwe's ruling ZANU-PF party as the battle to succeed President Emerson Mnangagwa intensifies. Billionaire businessman Kuda Tagwirei is emerging as a front-runner but faces opposition from war veteran Chris Mutsvangwa, who has issued a strong warning against Tagwirei's ambitions. ZANU-PF spokesperson Chris Mutsvangwa is emerging as the only senior figure publicly opposing businessman Kuda Tagwirei's presumed presidential ambitions. Since March, Tagwirei, a key ally and financier of President Emerson Mnangagwa, has stepped out of the shadows, embarking on a countrywide charm offensive. He has met with church leaders, youth groups, and ruling party loyalists, while praising Mnangagwa's leadership and publicly aligning himself with the president's vision. Observers view these moves as part of a soft launch for a political campaign. Tagwirei, often dubbed Queen Bee for his vast business reach, is positioning himself as Mnangagwa's preferred successor in the run-up to the 2028 elections. Tagwirei, a controversial millionaire tycoon, faces major political hurdles after ZANU-PF spokesperson Chris Mutsvangwa warned him to keep his ambitions in check. Senior ZANU-PF officials are reportedly lobbying for Tagwirei to be parachuted into the 300-member Central Committee and Politburo amid claims that he has President Emerson Mnangagwa's backing to succeed him. But Mutsvangwa himself, a presidential aspirant, says Tagwirei will face a challenge if his target is ZANU-PF's top job. Mutsvangwa's reaction betrayed growing discomfort in ZANU-PF over the presidential millionaire tycoon's growing influence in the party and his reported ambitions to be president. Speaking to journalists in May at the party's Harare headquarters, Mutsvangwa cautioned against the trend of elevating business elites into positions of power within the party. He emphasized the importance of adhering to ZANU-PF's internal democratic processes. Anybody is free to join ZANU-PF, whether you be a businessman, a farmer, fisherman, or whatever. If certain provinces feel that that person should become a Central Committee member and they send their recommendations, the party will consider those resolutions and will come out with the appropriate decision. Mutsvangwa told a news conference on Wednesday when asked directly about Tagwirei's ambitions. What would be wrong is to say I'm getting into the party so that I become this or that post, that I become the president, because that is not the purpose of joining the party. The purpose of joining the party is to follow the constitution of the party and see to it that when succession is done by votes, you comply with the tenets of the party. He continued, it's a mass party, it's not a vanguard party. It allows everybody to come into the party. But if you come on a ticket that I want power, the people may see through what you want, and that becomes a challenge. Hopefully all the businessmen and entrants who come to serve the party and not to serve themselves, because serving themselves will not take them anywhere in ZANU-PF. I can vouch for that. just like presidents who went haywire and we removed them. ZANU-PF will winnow out all people with hidden ambitions other than following the structures of ZANU-PF. While Tagwirei enjoys Mnangagwa's backing and vast financial resources, critics say he lacks the political savvy, grassroots structures, and broad-based support required to mount a credible campaign. Tagwirei may have the business acumen, but Mnangagwa says he lacks political dexterity and is entering a crocodile-infested pool. Ngwenya agrees it would be risky for ZANU-PF to present him as a presidential candidate in 2028. Mnangagwa and his powerful wife Auxilia are reportedly determined to stop Constantino Chiwenga, his deputy and many people's favorite, to succeed him from assuming the presidency based on what calculations include apprehension that he will crack down on their dodgy business allies once he takes power. Mnangagwa is bound by the constitution to serve only 2 terms. His second and final term ends in 2028. Although his supporters are seeking constitutional amendments to keep him in power until 2030, the 82-year-old, however, maintains that he will not stay in power a day longer than the constitution allows, and some ZANU-PF insiders have briefed that while Mnangagwa may be genuine, that is not the full story. The plan, they say, is to push through the constitutional amendments, postponing elections due to 2028 and extending not only the president's term by 2 years, but also the life of parliament to 2030, effective 2023. Zimbabwe's new constitution, adopted in 2018, provides that in the event that the president resigns or is incapacitated, his party will select a successor to finish his term. It is through this key provision, they say, that Mnangagwa will seek to influence the succession development in ZANU-PF. The insiders said this was the thinking behind seemingly urgent moves to position Tagwirei in both the Central Committee and the Politburo. Once satisfied that the 56-year-old Tagwirei or whoever else he may choose as his successor is the first to win the party mandate, Mnangagwa would then resign, leaving that person to carry on until 2030 in the hope that they can use that time to endear themselves with the Zimbabwean public and win the postponed elections. The plan relies heavily on ZANU-PF succeeding with the constitutional amendment, which legal experts say would require a public referendum, and what other ZANU-PF leaders with ambitions to succeed Mnangagwa, like Mutsvangwa and Chiwenga, do in the interim. A Mnangagwa supporter and MP told Zim Live he was familiar with the ZANU-PF leaders' succession plan. The president believes that the era of leaders who went to the war is over, and it's time for a young leader who must be given a soft landing to establish himself. That's what 2030 is all about, the lawmaker said. Tagwirei, who made his fortune from state contracts, had not answered questions sent to him by Zim Live. However, analysts suggest that Mutsvangwa's position is unlikely to alter the current trajectory. Mnangagwa is promoting Tagwirei's candidacy initially discreetly but increasingly more openly, says Eldred Masunungure, a political scientist at the University of Zimbabwe. Mutsvangwa is launching a lone wolf operation and he is destined to lose. Analyst Rejoice Ngwenya is even more dismissive, urging that Mutsvangwa lacks the political clout, integrity and organizational structure to influence the succession within ZANU-PF. Decisions are made in the Politburo and the Presidium. His populist rhetoric does not go that far. Mutsvangwa's political challenge is further weakened by his fraught relationship with Vice President Constantino Chiwenga, who is also seen as a contender for the presidency. Chiwenga has long viewed himself as the natural successor to Mnangagwa after leading the 2017 military coup that ousted Robert Mugabe. But ZANU-PF insiders say Mnangagwa is now favoring a civilian successor, someone untainted by the liberation war hierarchy such as Tagwirei. Party insiders suggest Mutsvangwa's recent outburst may be an attempt to stay relevant and position himself as for a lesser role, possibly the deputy presidency should Mnangagwa's succession plan fall apart. He's just trying to insert himself in the thick of the things. One ZANU-PF sources tell the African Report. He is not a serious contender. He is just good at talking. Mutsvangwa has clashed with Mnangagwa repeatedly since the latter assumed office. He was sacked from the cabinet twice. First as special advisor to the president in 2018 and again in 2024 as veterans of the Liberation Struggle Affairs Minister. He currently serves as the party at the party headquarters with little institutional backing. He lacks the finesse necessary to occupy and execute that office, says Mnangagwa. His turbulent relationship with Mnangagwa stems from his overly forward and abrasive attitude. While Mutsvangwa remains respected as a genuine war veteran, Gwenya says he commands no real grassroots support. His main role now is to praise Mnangagwa and neutralize dissent within the war veterans movement. The push to elevate Tagwirei has also reignited ethnic tensions within ZANU-PF. Under Mugabe, as a Zulu, the party was dominated by his ethnic kin Mnangagwa. A Karanga reversed that trend. Tagwirei also Karanga would continue the pattern, potentially alienating other factions and reviving inter-party fractures. Mnangagwa says some see this as an attempt to replace one Karanga with another to block as a Zulu resurgence, adding this could widen existing rifts within the party. Since 2023 elections, ZANU-PF has been consumed by internal succession maneuvers at the expense of public service delivery. Hospitals remain underfunded, civil servants are demoralized, and basic infrastructure is crumbling. According to Chengetai Guta, Director of Communications for the Opposition Movement for Democratic Change, Tagwirei, the ruling party has become a sophisticated monster, devouring national resources and dividing citizens along tribal lines, all while war veterans and general population are left in poverty. They do this at the expense of taxpayers' money and mortgaging of national resources at the expense of positive national development, he tells the African Report. As 2028 looms, analysts say Zimbabwe's ruling party is navigating the treacherous political transition. They argue Mutsvangwa's rebellion may not hold Tagwirei's rise, but it signals that ZANU-PF's unity, long held together by the liberation credentials, is beginning to fracture. Ndoma buditsa wakati kwa nyaya muri Zimbabwe mai Zimbabwe tisingazive kuti munoona sei tiudziwe zvamunofunga mu comment section.